Welcome to the CFG Gamecast episode number 189, a weekly podcast created by gamers and streamers that like to discuss the latest gaming topics from the previous week. We stream a new episode every week and release it on all podcast services. We're on Apple, Google Podcasts, Podbean, and so much more. So show us some love. Do us a favor and give us a like on Facebook, a subscribe or follow on Twitch or YouTube, or go to our main website, confreaksandgeeks.com, to not miss an episode. I am Mr. CFG Games himself, Davis Green, and with me today are my two awesome co-hosts. I got Lex in the second seat. What is going on, my cyborg?
Well, last night, I played games this week. I was starting to feel good enough. Let's talk about that first. I played Mr. Hop's Playhouse 3, and I know I've mentioned before that I played the first two, obviously. They really changed up the game style, and I'm really enjoying it, and I think it's really good. So if you are also doing like the 100 days into Halloween, it's a good little pickup. But I had a little girl date with Scorp Kitty last night, since Smitty is out of town and Miss Steal Your Girl apparently, and we played the Tartarus Key. I got her to play it.
You got her to actually play a video game. That's actually quite impressive. How did she like it?
She really did. She was like, I like the fact that I'm not worried about like any time issues. Like if I don't hurry this up, someone's going to come up behind me and murder me, or, and then I'm going to have to start this puzzle over. They say we should hurry, but I know if I take 20 minutes, that person's not going to keel over.
Nice.
And so she really liked it. And we got a bunch of pieces of paper out. No begging, Opie. And I was her little note taker, and she's like, how hard is it not to tell me what I'm missing? I'm like, I can't really remember. So you're fine. There's so many puzzles, and some rooms have multiple puzzles inside of them. And so you kind of have to, like, I have 5 sheets of paper, and I left them here with all of my note taking so that I could do a quick playthrough later and get the secondary ending. But yeah, it was all new for me again too. So it was really fun. We got to room 4, third puzzle. If you guys have played, maybe there are a few other, you can go to a different door instead of that particular one. But anyway, it was a lot of fun. So she's in the projector room area, but we had a blast. I also showed baby Smitty my cyborg parts, and she was intrigued, and she kept saying, "You're a robot?" And I said, "Yes, I am a robot." And she goes, "No." She'd poke my cheek, and she'd go, "You human?" And I'm like, "No, I'm a robot." And we made a whole game of it. So it was fun. I got to hang out with all the little Smitties, all the girl Smitties yesterday, and got to play some fun games. So that basically covers it, if I'm being real with you.
Very nice. Awesome. That's good. That sounds like an awesome time. That's cool.
And
yeah. And as you can tell, Smitty is not here. Smitty is enjoying drinking it up with the Voodoo Ranger Lounge in PAX West this week in Seattle. So we have a replacement for him. We have an awesome Twitch streamer that plays that's a variety streamer, but is currently been playing some hardcore Warframe with some friends. So I'd like to welcome it's Yosh to the show today. How are you doing, sir?
Oh, doing great, man. Doing great. Thank you for having me. Feels good. Feels good to be a part of this. I love like talking on podcasts. I don't know. So I guess that's why Smitty messaged me. He's like, dude, I'm gonna be out of town this weekend. Like, I think he messaged me like 2 days ago, and he's like, you want to be on a podcast this weekend? I'm like, checking the time. I'm like checking my calendar. I'm like, yeah, why not? And so yeah, but yeah, my week's been doing pretty good. The time has been doing good. I've been doing a streamathon on Twitch. We're on day like 41 tonight. And I think it's like we're going up to 60 days now. So it's been crazy. But the wife has been supportive, I stayed on a little longer last night, and I was like, if you let me stay on a little longer tonight, I'll make you some biscuits and gravy tomorrow. It's like one of her favorites, So, I woke up today, I got a few hours of sleep. I was like, made her some biscuits and gravy. And she was like, if this is all I have to do for you to make me biscuits and gravy, then you can do it more often because it's like one of
Say
her favorite
less.
foods. Yeah, exactly. So
I'm on board. You're on board.
Yeah.
Just with the biscuits and gravy. Oh, wow, that's a good out. That's a perfect out. Oh my god.
Exactly. You gotta know your outs. When you've been married for almost 9 years, you gotta know your ins and outs. So.
It's like, hey, I know how to get out of this perfectly. Yeah. But God, it's freaking hilarious. So what about, like, as for me, dude, I've just been, wow, actually I've been really busy. Apparently, because like, besides looking for jobs, because I'm going to be losing mine at the end of the month, which is fine. But I've been
where they are. I can go there. I can,
just go.
Gone.
Yeah, I've been doing that for the first half, but then it was really crazy. So like so I've been playing a lot of course, Baldur's Gate 3. Still been consistently been playing that. I'm hitting 200 hours in that game. And what's it called? Oh, then I was playing. I did a group stream of playing the new Ninja Turtles DLC game that came out last week or yesterday, a couple days ago. I was playing that with some friends too. We did like a crazy 6-player stream of that, which is pretty
awesome.
fun. Yeah, it was really hilarious. And then apparently you could change your colors to like the classic Game Boy color, so you're just a spinach green, all green color and stuff. So we decided to do it. Yeah, we all decided to do that. So we didn't. Sometimes we got confused on who was what.
Yeah, I was about to say, did you know like which one was which? Yeah.
Yeah, we had to like say, okay, wait, I'm Leonardo, so I have the swords, right? Okay, cool, let's go with it. So, yeah, we had a great time doing that. Then also, and then like, I had a really cool interview. We talked to the narrator of Baldur's Gate 3, Amelia Tyler, did a good interview that's going to be released on Friday this week, which is crazy. I just love British accents though. It's just like it was just perfectly great. I can listen to that all day. But if you're a CFG member on our page, the CFG store, you get to. We're going to be releasing it out on Tuesday for that video too. So definitely if you're wanting to check that out. But yeah, so it's been very busy. It's been a busy, productive week. So definitely just moving on from the most part. Just still trying all the little, what if I do this, then what would happen in Baldur's Gate, essentially. So it's been pretty cool.
All I know from Baldur's Gate 3 is I saw the Mind Flayer scene, and I was like, okay, well, now I need to play this game.
Yeah.
It's a great game. It's a great game.
I've been playing the first one, actually.
Recently?
I'm one of the people that have to play. Like, if there's a 3, I have to play 1 and 2. So I'm actually playing through the original Baldur's Gate right now. So.
Yeah. But I mean, it's a D&D campaign. Oh, Wesley just posted here on YouTube saying that I just purchased the deluxe edition of Baldur's Gate 3 on PS5, and I'm excited for it. Yeah, dude, first off, I have to say that deluxe edition is ridiculous. Like, I mean, what you get out of it. But did you get if you got the physical version, it's like $300. It comes with like Magic the Gathering cards too and stuff. It's like really crazy. Yeah. So yeah, but it was very nice, very, very cool for the most part. So no, but like I said, dude, this is my game of the year, dude. There's nothing close to it yet. To be fair, haven't played Starfield yet, so I think that was a contender of it, but like you gotta play the game before you can say if it's the best or not. So there you go. Oh, okay. You got the digital. Oh, very nice. Okay. Very nice. But yeah. I could talk for hours for this game, but y'all really should listen to that interview. I cannot wait till that interview comes out. It was like, this girl is so laid back and so hilarious. So definitely check out the Amelia Tyler interview for it. So, but I know y'all don't want to talk about the normal continuance on me just gushing on Baldur's Gate 3. So let's go through the normal rigmarole that we like to do each and every week. So each of us chooses a topic of discussion in the world of video games from the previous week. The topic would or could be a game itself or something that happened in the gaming industry. And we don't want to talk about it amongst ourselves. We want you, the listeners and viewers on Twitch, on YouTube, on Kick, on Facebook, to be a part of that conversation. So if there's something that you're wanting to chime in about whatever we talk about, by all means, just type it inside the chat. We will be looking at it, and we will openly have you join in on our conversations as always. So definitely just check it out, and we'll we'll discuss. So let's get this party started with Lex. What are you bringing to the table?
Well, my first topic, I'm curious how you guys feel. So, Volition, for anybody who doesn't know who they are a developer of video games. They made games like Saints Row. They went under. Embracer Group is restructuring after a $2 billion investment deal with Saudi Arabia's Savvy Game Group fell through, and they announced. That and this was right after all of the Starfield reviews went live. In the post, the company explained that the reason for Volition's closure was tied to a parent company, Embracer Group's new restructuring program. So basically, to make a TLDR, they uh, put out a statement saying, as of now, we are no longer going to be a company any longer due to restructuring. We're going to try to make sure that all of the people that are being laid off have a little bit of a cushion, essentially, until they are able to get another job. But we are no longer going to be in existence anymore. Now, and we kind of talked about it a little bit before podcast. They did have two bombs back to back, as far as their latest games that they put out. But this company's been around since 1993. They were Parallax, and then in 96 they turned into a Volition, and they have been a company ever since. They did have a little bit of a hiatus. From 2013 to I believe 2019, they didn't release anything, but yeah, they're going under. I kind of saw this coming, if I'm being honest, because again, they haven't really been putting out anything that's been a big hit, even just a singular game. And so I was curious what you guys thought about it. Anything to add?
Yeah, sure. Well, I guess I'll go. Well, I mean, it always sucks when you see a studio close and stuff. Especially, I think this one's more. I would say it's more surprising for me because even though that they've had, I mean, to say that two games is the reason why the studio for what the studio's been around for almost 30 years, is the reason why the last two games have tanked. I think it has to be more than that, in my opinion.
I wholeheartedly
Because
agree.
yeah,
Please don't
yeah,
misunderstand that. They
yeah,
just haven't.
yes.
To me, it feels like they haven't been doing a whole lot.
Oh,
Is more or
they have
less.
definitely have not. But then again though too, I don't know how long the new Saints Row game that they released last year, how long they were working on it. But I feel like if it was a while or not, I hope so. It didn't feel like it because I mean the game was not didn't even really feel like a good Saints Row at all. But but just to see a game studio that kind of has like a really fairly good storied history to go out the way it did, it just seems very unfortunate. Like they've been, yeah, so like it's sad to see them go. I know they weren't like, the triple A company, so I could see them being the first in line if there were cuts. I could easily see them to being exposed to it, but it's just a shame. It's just a shame to see, just to say goodbye to it. And now I guess the biggest thing is like if they decide to bring Saints Row, which is I don't even know if it's going to be if there's a place for it anymore at this point. Like where will it go afterwards? So at least that's what I think.
Yeah, I think the main issue with stuff like this happening is like they've kind of been locked in and making Saints Row games since like 2006. And that's all they really have done since then. Like Saints Row 1, 2, and 3 were all great games, don't get me wrong. I enjoyed all three of those. But if you realize they got acquired by Deep Silver in 2013. And then from there they released Saints Row 4, which was not in the same line as the first three, in my opinion. And then they released Agents of Mayhem, and then they released a reboot of Saints Row, which you said you don't know how long they spent. They spent 5 years developing
5 years on that game,
getting it going.
Wow.
5 years on that game. Yes, Agents of Mayhem released in 2017. So from there to the reboot of Saints Row, that was 5 years in between. And I'm sure they were working on it before then. They had a lot of dev problems, from what I've heard with all that. But it really stinks to see a game like a company that's been around for so long go. And I think that main issue is publishers want a lot of developers to stick to what they know rather than trying to go outside of the realm of, what they
Creativity.
want to do. Yeah, like they stump the creativity of developers. I mean, because we can talk about Saints Row, but they made Descent and Free Space, which was both amazing space shooters released in the late 90s on PC. So they have that creative bone in their body. It's just that they were just, like I said, I feel like they were locked down to Saints Row for a bit too long. And besides working on a reboot of Saints Row, I feel like it should have just been a whole new project entirely, and they should have just did it outside of the Saints Row name.
I mean, you know what's actually kind of really a little bit worried, like not worried, but like what they could have done is like, what if they just wanted to do something completely different, just at all? It would have been helpful at this point in time, because you're talking about Saints. They were at the fourth version of Saints Row. That's like Saints Row was basically the closest thing of competition to what you would call with GTA, which is like not even close, And then they had a different leaf when they what was for the one that they introduced superheroes or something like that. Yeah. Okay. So they knew that they knew that what they had was going to be something that was super comical, something that was going to be super taken seriously for the most part. So they've already done everything they really could have done with what they did with Saints Row. That's why like maybe when they did this quote unquote reboot, if they decided what if they made a different IP, or maybe try to stretch it to say, hey, we want to do something different, and we could be talking about something completely different now,
Mm-hmm.
I agree. I agree with you a lot, Yosh. I think publishers want you to stay in your lane, and that does stump creativity. Where I'm curious though, you have over 130 employees. I play a lot of indie games. Well, of course, there are a lot of more or less horror based, but I play a lot of indie games, and a lot of them are in early access. And these games are 2 people, 4 people, 6 people, under 10 people, and the level of creativity, the level of the structuring, the visuals, all of that, the musicality of the game, which of course is all a part of the horror genre, makes it, right? And I find it really hard that you're going to do a reboot with this many people, and yes, maybe you want to go outside of your realm, but the publisher is saying no, you need to do a reboot. Okay, fine. Why is it so lackluster, right? I just To me it's frustrating. um and yes, I'm sure it's frustrating to them if they want to go outside of their realm, but you have so many people, and this is what is coming out of it. And again, it sucks that people are losing their jobs. It's never fun to hear that. I just, maybe these people will be happier elsewhere with other companies where they can have their creative freedom, I don't know.
Well, like Wesley was saying, that the first 3 Saints Row games were the ones that he really loved those games. It's funny. I
They were
never
great.
played the Saints Row
Really?
until Saints Row 2. No, Saints Row
See,
3
I
or
was a
so.
Saints Row girly and not a GTA girly.
My roommate was a hardcore Saints Row fan back in the day. So I was just like, okay. So I tried maybe for 2 hours, and I was like, hey, this isn't bad. And then you had the giant dildo sword, yeah, and stuff. It's just like freaking hilarious. There's a lot of crazy stuff that happened in that game, which is really cool.
Yeah, Saints Row 3 has the most memorable moment in gaming to me. It's when you jump out of the helicopter and they have Kanye playing in the background, and you just pull the parachute out and you land on a rooftop and you're gunning down a bunch of people. Like, it was just like that's when they started kind of getting a little over the top, but it was so much fun. Like, it was one of my favorites.
It's true. And I mean, and as for the with the Embracer group with this thing, it's actually kind of funny because Smitty and I were actually talking about that whole deal with the savvy gaming group like partnership to fall through. That we were thinking that like that was the thing that they were going to do to keep some of the stuff that the projects that they were trying to keep up was
right, because you have to fund it somehow.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. but like to say that that's the immediate, because of that they're already immediately making these cuts because of that, how that partnership dissolved is very, very fast. So who knows what we might hear something else that's going to happen in the next like week or so from another group of, because like Embracer is huge. Embracer is a huge company. There's a lot of different studios that they own, so I will not be surprised that we'll be seeing some more of things like this to happen, you know, because like it's unfortunate to see. Like I don't think no one would. It kind of sucks because the way that this is going to disappear, it feels like it's going to disappear out of the view of people because of the mediocrity the impact of mediocrity that this studio had. Was like they weren't doing much. They for the most part in the past, like overall the past 10 years, only released one or two games, and those two games were at best AA at best, and they both tanked. So like it really sucks that that people are going to forget that this is, at one point in time, the studio actually were making fairly good games. It's just been such a long time, you know.
They were going to reboot anything. I would have liked for them to reboot Red Faction. I think that would have
been fun. I would have been so happy.
Especially in like the scene that we have with Doom now and everything like that. Like bringing Red Faction back with being able to explode destroy anything you want. Like that would have been amazing if they would have brought that back.
Love
that. Would have been amazing. That would have been perfect, actually. Yeah, you're totally right.
But I'm not the one sitting in the boardrooms, you know. So
But then again, though, too, is it kind of annoying that that's where we're at right now? Like, you know how it is in movies. Like, I don't know, maybe I'm putting my old man hat on, but like, you know, like in movies, they're doing the it's all about reboots and remakes and stuff like that, as opposed to creativity of new IPs and stuff. Like, we barely don't see that. Like, compared like for what we like. I mean, even compared to like, I would say the PS2 era was probably one of the like had the most random game, like some of the most random games that they came out and they just didn't even care, you know. But then now it's like it just seems so meticulous on what is being released and like and you know, when you hear the stuff that Baldur's Gate's going through because of how much of a success that they're doing it, because they're not doing it the conventional way of game development, game development is and stuff, and they're getting a lot of flack for it. It's like that's the one thing I really kind of just wish. It's just like, I mean, I wish to just stop doing these remakes as much, you know?
I always wonder, like, who is sitting in the boardroom and who's sitting next to them saying, yeah, that's a good idea. Let's just reboot that.
They're playing it safe. They're playing it safe. That's what it is, yeah.
Well, and they could have even done like a spinoff of a Red Faction, and it would have been fantastic.
Yeah, I feel like it's the lazy, like you can look at EA with all their sports franchises. Rather than just making one game and updating it every year, they have to make a new game every year. They want to make that money and those easy dollars, where you see a lot of amazing, like that's why I feel like indie games are having another resurgence. I don't know if y'all remember that indie game resurgence back in like 2012, 2013.
Oh yeah.
Where everything was about indies, and I feel like that's coming back. You had Sea of Stars that just released, which is like Chrono Trigger meets Golden Sun meets like every old JRPG you played on the Super Nintendo.
Right.
That's a phenomenal game. No Man's Sky is still releasing updates for their game that they released 7-8 years ago. Free updates for everybody to run, and that's a 12-person studio.
Right.
Wow, it's only 12 people still.
Yeah, I think it's like 12 to 20 people still. Like it's not as much, and but they're releasing free updates for people to play like constantly, and I just feel like that we're getting another one of those resurgences where people are just going to start floating more to indies rather than these AAA studios.
Right. Well, and here's my thing is I'm tired of paying AAA prices for games that aren't delivering what they promised in the media in the beginning. It's just why am I paying $60+ for a game that's not even a finished game? It's not a finished product. Whereas I can go to an indie developer and it's two people and they're doing early access because they want to hear from us. They want to hear from us. What are your ideas? How do you feel about this? And it feels like you're a part of it, right? You're at the ground floor of something.
The problem with indies is that it's a hit and miss. That's the problem. I think it's
I agree,
it's very, very volatile on like, you know, when you get these games.
on
Yeah.
$5 versus 60 plus. You know?
Yeah. I mean, well, yeah. Like my strong feelings about early access, and definitely with that it's usually I'm not usually on the board with the way development works with early access, but like I definitely see the appeal on like more on like trying to get the underdog to kind of be more noticed and stuff, because like I mean look at Sea of Stars for instance. Sea of Stars was something that I think was made took what 4 or 5 years for it to be done, and then it was really like a person's personal passion project, and I think he went initially on Kickstarter for it, and when it got the full steam of like the RPG community, it became a bigger project than what he was anticipating it to be. Thus I can understand why he and he left it out of early access, which I think was a great move in my opinion, because that would have been annoying to play an RPG that's not finished. But so the biggest thing, like just to kind of weed those kind of level of success to people that you don't know, like small time people that you don't know, is very, very hard. And I think that's why I kind of like I give kudos to the folks who do make these games and then they release them out in the indie style, or indie, like without worrying about a bigger developer, and then they get their success the way they do. Because like that, yeah, that's why I give them creds on.
I would like to preface, I think in the horror genre, you're a little luckier with things like early access that are indie, like Labyrinthine. Oh, amazing. It is finally fully out. And it's been a ride. I've loved that game from the moment I stepped into that forest. It's been fantastic. And I think there's a lot of other hits that are in that same loop. Outside of the horror indie genre, just in indie, I haven't had as much luck with early access, like Davis said, but I feel like I'm just hitting win after win in my genre. I'm so happy about it.
It really depends with early access titles, because with early access, you have to look at it and be like, okay, do I want to support this game development? Like, does it look like they're just pulling assets from Unreal and there's no real creativity, or are they actually building something that's unique and different? And I feel like that's always the kind of thing you have to take with early access, because as you said, with indie games, they have kind of like that leeway to fail. When AAA developers fail, it's big. You're talking about 100 plus people working on a game. You're talking about money for
Class action
marketing.
lawsuits.
Yeah, like you're talking about millions and millions of dollars being spent, offset with an indie project that could be like $10 to $100,000 being spent on that project. And it's just like, that's why you see things like with Volition closing down. There's millions and millions of dollars that publishers and the corporate jargon has put into these games that they feel like is going to do great, and then they fail and they fall flat. And it's just crazy to me how much, because like I mean, I'm sure all of us in here grew up playing video games. It is crazy that it just became such a corporate, like just such a corporate thing. Like,
yeah,
it's
situation.
It's crazy to me. Yeah,
I definitely understand that. Okay, well, we'll see. Well, sorry to see goodbye to Volition Studios. Hopefully there'll be something better, and hopefully people will get back on their feet as soon as possible from that. But yeah, so let's just we'll continue on with my topic, which is a very interesting topic, which is that's not really interesting, it's just stupid. My topic is about PlayStation Plus. See, my issue is, so PlayStation Plus is doing something pretty aggressive, I would say. So they are going to be increasing their prices for their online play for all their sources here. So what they're doing is that they're going to be charging. So right now, PlayStation Plus for a year costs $59.99, $60 a year. So they're changing. So they're upping the price from $69.99 for the Essentials package to $80. So it's going to be $79.99 a year. Their mid-tier package, which allows you to play PlayStation 4 emulated games and PlayStation 4 emulated games and uh oh yeah,
The
no,
PlayStation 1. It's
no,
the
no.
PlayStation 1 classics, right? Or
No, that's the ultimate package. Yeah,
oh, gotcha.
I think it's just the PS4 limited digital library. I think it's like 400 of them, and then
The PlayStation 3, you mean? Or is it
no,
PlayStation 4? Oh,
it's
no,
still
okay.
PlayStation 4. Yeah, it's PlayStation 4's specifically. Then PlayStation they're charging. They're going to charge 159 for the or 159 for no 139 for the PlayStation the extra one, the middle tier, and the final tier, the ultimate package, is going to be costing 170. So 169.99 for everything. So it allows you to play PS3, PS4, PS1 library games and stuff like that for a whole year. So I was like, so this increase is increasing the game. It's increasing to 35% increase of for just to get online access. I was like, wow, that is insane. Like even for me to say that that's how much they're charging for online. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm fine with a price increase, like, because it's only inevitable. That's the way I've always looked at it. But the way that they're charging it up, and then what's even worse is there's nothing that they're adding to it. They're just saying, oh, we just have to increase the price up to 35% up. It's just going to be simple T. You got to pay $80 just to play online on your PS5 is insane to me. I'm just like, are you trying to push people to the PC at this point? because that's what's ending up what's going to end up happening if we're going to jack up the price like that with these kind of crazy prices. So I don't know, man. Like, this is I'm not saying I'm angry, more like I'm very disappointed into this. I understand that, like I said, I understand about price increases. I know people know I mean, there's no one's ever happy when there's always an increase in price of how it goes, but this is way too aggressive. Way too aggressive for what you get. I mean, this makes, I think that it makes the Xbox Game Pass even more shine better now because of this crazy increase that you're doing, because I don't think the Game Pass's prices has been announced that they're going to jack the prices up on that either. So yeah,
$9.99.
So I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen. I know a lot of people are very, very angry about it, and I just wanted to see what y'all's personal takes are for it.
Yosh, you go ahead, my dear.
Oh, okay. Oh. So I have a PlayStation 5 and I have the premium package, and I will not be renewing it because it's not worth it. Here's the thing. The past year, PlayStation has come out with some pretty good games. They came out with the new Horizon Zero Dawn. They came out with the new God of War, things like that. It's not available on the premium package for me to play right now. I can't even play Last of Us 2 right now on the premium package.
What? Really?
So they don't even put their first party games on this premium package that you're playing. But if you have the Xbox Game Pass, you can play every game that Xbox releases day of.
Okay, that's insane.
But they do have a lot. They have a lot of games that you can just download, but so does the Xbox Game Pass, right? So it's not worth it. And then, of course, you can play the PlayStation 1 games. You can stream the PlayStation 3 libraries, which their remote play is garbage. If you're trying to stream a PlayStation 3 game, you're gonna get like 5-second delays on some of your inputs sometimes. But then they also have the PlayStation 2 and the PlayStation 1 emulation games. But guess what? I have a Steam Deck. I can emulate a PlayStation 2, a PlayStation 1, a GameCube. I can emulate whatever I want on that. So they're free of charge too. I don't have to pay a yearly subscription for it. So with the price increase, I feel like Sony is doing what they've been doing for a long time since the PlayStation 4, and they got a big head about it. Is that they're putting their consumers behind them, and they're trying to appease their stockholders, which is why their stocks are going up, because everybody likes that. But once PlayStation starts losing a lot of people subscribing, I think it's going to come back and bite them. I'm
surprised about. Okay, so I understand why they would probably do what they're doing about not having their exclusive first parties into that, because they know people are going to pay for it. they know people are going to go and buy that day one for the initial games itself. So I can kind of understand why they're doing that. But what's surprising is that, dude, we're 2 years in when Last of Us 2 came out, and you're still not able to play it is unacceptable, completely unacceptable for the amount of money.
I haven't even played it yet. I haven't even played Last of Us 2 yet because
Sir, you could have my login.
Yeah,
I'll message you later.
Freaking ridiculous. Yeah.
This makes me mad. I was a Sony girly. My first a Sega Genesis was gifted to me when I was 12. But besides that, the PlayStation 2 was my first big ticket Christmas present item, and everyone in the family went and picked out games that were absolutely terrible for me. But you know what? I didn't mind. My kitty is hunting mice. Apologies. But I get it. The prices are going to go up. That's fine. I am aware. However, you're telling no, I'm now an Xbox girly. Again, and there are people who are ride or die and will always be ride or die. I thought I was one of them. And I'm not kidding. I've been looking at PlayStation 5s all week. I've been thinking of getting the Spider-Man one. I've been on the fence, and I was about to hit the yes button tomorrow. And now I'm not, because I think I would be playing online with other people. I'll be honest, not really, because a lot of the games I wanted to play on PlayStation were
story based
games, right? Which, fine. However, now you're no.
No, I mean, okay, here's what I think. Okay, and that's what I think. And then I personally don't think you should be discouraged of buying the system, in my opinion. I think this is way too aggressive for Sony to even be messing around with their with their PlayStation Plus members, which, by the way, Monk Bloody even says himself, and I totally agree with them, not enough added value for the price increase, which is like, yeah, you know what justify that, but would be better if they said that if they're gonna include like what something simple that Yosh is not experiencing, which is saying we're gonna be giving you the access to our first party library if you have an ultimate plus. You're paying $180 for or $170 $180 for the top tier, and you're telling me that like that's not in your eyes going to be giving them people access to your possible you know what, this might be a little bit argumentative to me. I don't mind them not having a day one, because the reason why, because their setup is not like how Microsoft is. They don't need to depend on online itself, so they're trying to get them ducats for the people to spend $70 for Spider-Man 2. However, they need, but like 2 or 3 months in, they need to just say, okay, we're gonna put this on PlayStation Plus Ultimate, because there's no freaking reason otherwise not to at this level.
Think about this. Let's say the 180 tag price, and they say, we're not going to give you day one, but if you buy 3 AAA games day one, after that, we'll give you X, Y, and Z.
I don't think you need to buy anything at that point. $180, I think is I think it's in the range. But just wait for it. Just like a movie.
There's not even but we'll give you this. Like it doesn't speak.
They just said
what are you bringing to the table?
Yeah, this is the issue, the difference like between what Xbox and PlayStation does too, is Xbox is more multimedia. They don't mind having PC players. They want to have Xbox Game Pass accessible for everybody. If you have a phone, if you have a computer, even if you don't have an Xbox, they still want you to access that. Sony is caught up in just, this is our console. You're going to be on here and you're going to pay. They're the Apple of pretty much consoles at the moment. And I think personally, like, to kind of counter what you said, I feel like if people are going to be spending $180 for PlayStation Plus a year, they should have 3-day early access to every new game that comes out and have that access day one. If I'm paying $180 a year, with the Xbox Game Pass, I pay what? Like, I don't even pay that much a year for my Xbox Game Pass.
Wait, do you play old? Do you pay? Wait, how much is? Wait,
I get the regular Game Pass.
Let's look it up, because I want to know, because like It's
So
not even.
do I.
I think it's $100. It has to be $100 in a year.
I'm locked into the $9.99. I know that because I was like,
Xbox.
Yeah, I do the $9.99 a month, so that's
Okay,
$120 a
so
year.
$120. Okay, for $120 a year itself. So, okay, yeah. So, I mean, I just don't even know. I think, but I think the reason they can get away with the is that the strength of the PlayStation first party compared to the strength of the Xbox first party. It's like it's a night and day difference. I mean, you could name all the first party games on Xbox on one hand, essentially, as opposed to how many first party games that have been insanely successful for Sony in the past, like even on the PlayStation 5's era. Like, we're not even including the 4 and all that stuff. It's like they're just making bangers every freaking year on proprietary.
I can agree with that to a point. I don't think just because you drop good games, you should be anti-consumer.
Oh no, I don't think. I think that I think the reason why it's the reason why they're so aggressive on it is they know that where their money is coming from. Because for me, I don't even kick it with any of the monthly services, because I don't think that for me personally, that like this is gonna the game. I'd rather just own the games I know I'm gonna get, as opposed to just saying I need to get a monthly subscription just so I know it's going to be rotated out of it, like and stuff. So, and then I think most people's mentality for that kind of for first parties, specifically for Sony, I'm not defending Sony in any way, that I think that Sony knows that they got people that they know that they're not here about the backwards compatibility. They're just here about just being the first to get the game, just get that game, and they're willing to spend the $70 just to get it, and they're wanting to entice people to still do that, as opposed to just saying we can get this game anyways if we just get the monthly, if we get the subscription. I think that they're anti on that. I think they're hugely anti on that, in my opinion.
That's why you should tie it to where if you have a year, if you buy, let's say you buy a year of PlayStation Plus Premium, you have access to first party titles. If you have the month-to-month prescription, then we won't allow you to access those titles.
I would agree.
At least when they do that, right?
That would make similar sense. Yeah.
Like, because like with Xbox Game Pass, I only get Xbox Game Pass. Like, I bought Xbox Game Pass this month because Starfield's coming out. So but like after that, I'm canceling it. Like, I'm not gonna have it anymore because I don't need it anymore. But it'll take me maybe 2-3 months to play Starfield. So that's $30 for me to play and beat Starfield. You know, so like that's what I do. That's how I consume my product.
Okay, that's just
like, but like I feel like PlayStation is just they've been missing the mark for a while now, and as far as for their base,
the online especially.
Yeah, and like I have a PC. Like I only play my PlayStation when I play single player games. You know, like, so I'm not really worried about that. I got the premium because I was like, oh well, if I get the premium for a year, maybe they'll put their titles on the store and I can play it. But I was like, they don't have, like I said, they don't have Last of Us 2. They didn't put the new Horizon. They didn't put the new God of War. Like, I'm like, well, then I just wasted money for this year because they didn't release any of the games I was expecting to get on the platform so I could play it. And then they're doing the PC releases 3 years after they come out, because Returnal came out, Ratchet and Clank came out, and then they're releasing the Uncharted collection. Spider-Man came out. So, and that's another thing. Like, Sony is just like only thing I think Sony is doing right is the multimedia aspect, as far as like the Last of Us show. I heard the Gran Turismo movie did really well. And then Twisted Metal, if y'all haven't watched it yet, that show is fun as hell. It is fun as hell, and it is ridiculous.
It's on our watch list.
Yeah, it is unreal with how good it is. So I think Sony's hitting the mark with that type of stuff. But as far as like what they're doing with their PlayStation 5 right now, or like at least this generation, but it's been like that. If you've noticed that, like Xbox 360, like PlayStation 2, Xbox 360, PlayStation 4, Xbox Series, S and X is kind of like on the up right now. So
I'm sorry, go for it, Lex.
No, you're fine.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I just think that overall, like, I just think that the like I said, it's just for me just to say, like, okay, you're telling me, for me personally, I don't play online. I don't usually play online with a lot of people on my PlayStation, anyways, because like I'm kind of a hermit when it comes to that. I don't like playing with randos. So
Yeah.
like I usually like to play with people that I know. And then the only game that I play randomly are fighting games on my PlayStation 5. And so like I like Street Fighter and stuff like that. And just to say that I would have to pay $80, just $80 just in a year, just so I could play online with just other fighters and stuff like that is ridiculous to me. Well, actually, it's actually kind of funny because I had a really good foresight because I didn't knew that they were going to be doing a price hike for when it was $60. So I bought these 2 bundle packages that they did that allowed me to buy 3 years worth of PlayStation Plus for $120. And I bought 2 packs of that, so I'm good for 6 years for PlayStation
Nice.
Plus. Yeah. So, but like to say that, but like I know a lot of people are not in that same kind of boat, and I just think that this kind of thing will turn people over to Xbox. Like with the Game Pass, it's going to glorify Game Pass more, if anything. If you ask me, with this, because like you said, $9.99. Even at the base price $9.99, it's like what $120 a year. You're getting everything that that Xbox's handle is going to give is given to their consumers. So yeah, you're right. They're slowly becoming the Apple of a video game company, video games at this point.
I like my Androids. So.
I'm not an Android person. That's what's funny. I'm not an Android person at all.
It's okay. No judgment here.
Oh,
Apple's
same.
ecosystem makes sense.
You'll learn someday.
Oh no!
I got the Google Pixel 6. That's my phone of choice.
Nice.
Oh, that's my wife.
Oh, she's
Yeah,
beautiful.
Google Pixel 6.
See, that's great. All right. Well, so we all know. Okay, so let's close this off with our last topic. Lex, what is the last topic?
Sir, if you can pull up my graph, please. Let me sit up straight for this one. If you guys don't know, I like to do fuck around and find outs, and today's fuck around and find out is the man who stole Starfield. And as you know, the more you F around, the more you find out. So what happened? Great question. Let me tell you. Oh, I closed my article. There was a man. He decided, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna release X amount. Who is calling me? Oh, I can't talk right now. So I got my article. We're good. All right. Neighbors, gamers, shocked after records show Memphis man stole copies of unreleased Starfield video game. So a Memphis, Tennessee local man is facing 3 charges, including felony theft after being accused of selling stolen copies of a video game that had not been released yet. According to court documents, copies of the game were stolen from a distribution center in Memphis, then sold online. I'm not going to say his name because he doesn't need any more recognition. The game in question is called Starfield and is one of the most highly anticipated video games, as I'm sure all of us here are aware. He posted, which has now been deleted, 45 minutes of gameplay to YouTube. I believe he also did it on Instagram and TikTok, if I'm not mistaken. And then he posted videos showing himself shipping out copies of the game that he was selling. In some of the videos, he can be seen shipping off copies of the game and encouraging his followers to message him if they are also interested in buying one. Got another game here. I don't know what y'all be thinking, but I ain't doing no scams. So he's gonna do some jail time. Man, and it's funny. If you guys want to read the article, I won't steal from it. But his neighbors were assuming he was selling something else, not video games. A video game? So I find it
Wait,
interesting.
they thought that he was stealing something else, but
no, not stealing, selling something else with all the amount of cops that rolled up on his house. They thought they were doing that the cops were doing like a bust, not a video game sting. So his neighbors knew he was up to something sketchy, obviously. But yeah, he's gonna be doing some big time because we all and we kind of discussed prior to podcast, which you guys didn't hear, about copyright laws and all of that. That's federal crimes. So are they going to charge him 60 plus times for copyright crimes? Because there's jail time in that alone, but times that by 60 something.
I mean,
how is that going to go down?
It's theft. I mean, it's obviously
it's 100% theft.
It's theft, and initial grade is the fact that he stole those copies prior is one. That's one different kind of thing. So that's a whole different fight in itself. The second fight is the fact that he went like, I just found that he felt engaging. Like he had the balls to do an Instagram video to the developers of the game directly, and then even said it directly to Todd Howard and stuff, and about like how good that the game was and everything. I'm just like, what kind of nonsense is that? Yeah, I don't know, what is that?
Like, what are you doing?
Yeah. So I don't think it's like copyright, but rather like they're going to bust him. They're going to bust him for. I mean, I guess you could bust him for breaking embargo, but like they also, if they wanted to, and you know that the company is going to definitely get. I mean, they're going to really F this guy's up, like history up. Cause like, I think a mixture of just the hard jail time and the mixture of just like what he did to post up and then also put it on social, like put it on YouTube and all this stuff video. I mean, even though it got immediately down, you put it up for like fast enough. It's on the internet now. You're screwed. People copied that stuff like so fast already. So like, it is so ridiculous. It's ridiculous, like what he's going, like just the emboldenment that he had to do all of this, you know, and you can't even fake the fact that fake the fact that he didn't know what he was doing, because like it's all on the internet. It's crazy.
It looks like he's facing up to 12 years. So they're not going to slap him with copyright as of yet. They could obviously add charges, but it's felony theft at the moment. How many counts of that? One count of felony theft, you get like a $10,000 fine, and maybe some jail time, but usually you get put on probation. I don't think that's going to be the case here.
That's going to also be like, that's also them they may sue him. They can sue him for this.
Oh, 100%. I mean, I get letters all the time. Hey, here's your key. Also, don't forget the embargo is this date to this date. If you break that, we can sue you. You know, like,
I love Monk Bloody on YouTube is saying he had the best review, though. I think they should have integrated his to this ad campaign.
They should. They should.
Oh, that would be hilarious if they did. It's like, okay, now the street review, we have so-and-so who didn't buy the game.
If they do that, they can't slap him with all this jail time.
Well, they absolutely can, because that would be separate. But then they wouldn't be able to turn around and sue him. That would be where like the legal line lies. But yeah, they can still, like, I mean, the charges are from the state at this point. They're not necessarily from the company itself. It's two separate, you know? So I just, oh man.
What do you think about all of this there, Yosh?
At least he tried. You know?
He tried.
I give him props. I give him props for effing around and finding out, you know. But like I don't know. I think it's funny the things that people do on social media these days, and stealing copies of a game that a lot of people are excited about, which is going to get you noticed by a lot of people. Going live and saying you're selling the game and you're playing the game is not it's not it. So but you know, I mean, I don't know, man. I think that's just crazy. I think
I love it.
I'll say he's got some balls, is my dad would have said.
That's why I said I love it. Like that's why I said I love it. He got balls. Like he did it. He went out and did it, you know? Like,
for sure. And he's not denying that at all in custody. So I mean, the consequences of your actions, he's at least taking accountability for that. I mean,
come on. No, you know? I mean, come on, dude. There's a point where you have to just say, like, that is so freaking, like, did he not know that this was like a big game or something? Because this is what doesn't make sense to me.
He had to have known.
12 years.
Right.
Like, I'm just saying,
Is it worth it? No.
he did all of this knowing that this stuff, like, this was going to be a hot ticket item. He posted on social media. He uploaded a video on this stuff to show like that he has the game and stuff. Went through all of that, and then to be like, to not expect that he was going to get caught by the police on top of that, and then they're not even taking this crap serious. I mean, they're taking this crap seriously. He's taking up to 12 years for just doing that. It's like, no, I'm sorry.
But imagine being in jail and them asking, "What are you in here for?" And like, yeah, I stole a bunch of copies of a game called Starfield and streamed myself playing it on the internet.
Yeah.
Like,
well, oh man. Well, and here's the thing too. Like, he had to have known that he was going to get caught. I mean, he didn't try to hide his face. It doesn't look like he tried to like put in a VPN so that they couldn't track his IP. None of that. It was, yeah, I stole copies. You want some? It's not a scam. And I think people were purchasing them thinking it was a joke. And just to see, right? Like FOMO, like, does he really? There's no way. Gets the copy. Oh wow, this is real. Oh no, I have also committed a crime, right? So I mean, and he was literally sending them videos on Instagram, like, my bad, Todd. And with your face? I mean, maybe it's the Italian in me. It was, if you commit a crime, don't show your face, use a VPN. Be smart about it, you know? I
like that he used Instagram to do all of his networking to these people. That's what I found very funny to me. I'm just like, what is going on? No, these, like, if this is what crime, like, if this is what thievery is now in 2023, leave, like y'all need to just quit while y'all are ahead, because that is insane to me. It's like, what, like, I can't even go into the mind of this person's like train of thinking of like why you would do this, because like yeah, it is unbelievable.
Also be for recognition, right? But here's the thing: if you're going to be facing up to 12 years in jail, when you come out, no one will remember you. Like, you're now talking about two other generations coming forward into the gaming community. Nobody's going to remember you. Your popularity will cease to exist. And
you lost 12 years of your life.
Right. You're going to be on probation for several years. And I guarantee they're going to ironclad it that you cannot be on social media, because clearly it drives you to do stupid things, right? That's going to be part of, man, like, well,
that's why we need to immortalize the man, just like Leroy Jenkins, you know, just like Leroy Jenkins. We need to immortalize the man and just make sure he's known when he gets released. That
so what if Starfield decides to make a ship and they call it his name? They call the ship after his name or something. And they'll be like, okay, here you go.
You can do that in the game.
Yeah.
Legally, they could. Absolutely. It wouldn't. He can't come after and sue them for that, because
it's like, hey, they can call it something else. It's like, oh, Monk Bloody says, if you were working in that warehouse, could you resist the temptation to swipe a copy for yourself? You know, to be fair,
yes,
though,
I can.
To be fair, yes, I can. But because, like, you know what? 9 times out of 10, they don't just have the thing on these boxes that says it's Starfield, Xbox, and so and so. You don't know what's in it unless you open them up.
Let me tell you,
or you look at the dossier.
I worked at Schmirka Schmimmy, which was a competitor for, and so I worked in a big store, and I was a computer person, but I would do stock. And when we would get things that were in embargo, meaning people are pre-reviewing it, maybe are getting copies that has nothing to do with our store, they're boxed and then they are locked away. You don't get to see what's in the box until that date and time. So if they say you can't open this box until August 8th at 8 p.m. before your store, 1 hour before your store closes, that is how that works. We would have people lining up and we're like, what are we releasing? We don't even know. Because I was busy building computers all day. I wasn't caring about what was coming out necessarily, because I was in college. I didn't have time for video games. I literally was awake for most of every day. But yeah, you don't know. And so he did a lot of work breaking into stores, man, because how do you know what stores even got copies?
Yeah, I will say this though. I mean, like, this guy, I bet you we won't even see a case. I mean, if he's already openly admitting to this, I won't be surprised if he's going to just, do a plea. obviously going to do a plea. There's no way. I mean, there's no way that he could defend against it when you have all these different kinds of like video and stuff.
There's
on
so
him.
much evidence. Well, but even then, if he takes a plea deal, he's still probably going to be doing jail time. And
he'll probably won't do as much.
If he hasn't passed, they won't give him a plea deal, most likely.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. If he had the guts to break into a store and steal the copies, he most likely has a pass, because again, that had to take him time, right? So he broke into a store, didn't trigger an alarm, or maybe he did, but he knew how much time he had to get in and get out and not get caught. And then on top of that, spent how many days posting on social media that he had that?
I think he had to have worked at the warehouse, because like it was a shipping warehouse of some sort to do it, or he knew someone, or someone on the inside told him about, like, this is what's coming, and I'll put it here. You take care. You do the rest. You know.
That's kind of like Yosh being like, man, someone broke into my house last week and stole all my cat treats, and I'm like, oh man, that sucks. Someone broke into your house. Look at these brand new cat treats I got. They were
right.
open. I'm gonna feed. Hello?
Yeah.
The call's coming from inside the house. But yeah, that was my fuck around and find out portion of our stream today. Thank you
Love it.
for joining in. I'm glad you guys liked it. Thank you.
Well, folks, thank you for listening to episode number 189 of the CFG Gamecast. Thank you for being a part of the conversation as always. We will be back again next weekend at the same time with some more awesome discussions. But in the meantime, if you did miss an episode on this week, that is perfectly okay. We release it every week at the beginning of each week. Actually, it's Labor Day this week. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But at the beginning of this, the beginning of each,
give you something to listen to on your day off for Labor Day.
Yeah, there you go. That's perfect. Exactly. So we release it on all podcast services: Apple, Google Podcasts, Podbean. I'm trying to not say Stitcher, because Stitcher's leaving. They're shutting down. So but in the meantime, though, you can go to check out any other podcast services out there. So there's absolutely no reason to miss out on our sexy voices. Yeah, guys.
Say it with me. Ooh.
Guys, also be sure to check out our website, confreaksgeeks.com. Also check out next week's episode of Pop Culture Gems. We will be talking to Baldur's Gate 3 narrator Amelia Tyler on that show, so that you can check it out on Friday, or if you're a CFG member on our page, you could get that full interview on Tuesday. So once again, this is Davis, Yosh, and Lex signing off. Y'all, take it easy.
Peace.
Bye.